Morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking reading. Thank you so much for all your support and love and kindness you send my way. I want to just give a quick update on memberships because people are still asking me how they join up. So if you're interested in having a membership with me, that will give you access to the classes we will be running on tarot, and that is the main reason I've set it up. But there will also be other things along the way. And I know I appear to have been busy. I've been trying to get at least 2 videos up a week at the moment. But once we get through the next week or two, then I will start to do some giveaways. So we'll see how that goes. I've never done anything like this before. It's all practice for me too. But if you're interested in joining up, along the top of, if you go to the front of my page, along the top, I think it has like a couple of things. I know videos is second. That line moves and you can find memberships through that way. And my understanding is under the picture there is a join button. If you are having trouble, it more than likely will be you're trying to join up on, oh, cards are lively. You're trying to join up on a phone or an iPad or a tablet. And my understanding is you can only join up on a desktop. So if you're having trouble, that may be why. I'll just let you know that now. I've had a couple of people feed that back to me. Apparently, once you've joined up via the website, so all you've got to do is go into the website rather than your own YouTube. But once you've joined up, you can then access it on your pad or your mobile. All right, beware of scammers. I'm constantly removing people off my page. Then I also get, people who are rude or nasty, and I just delete them too. So I have great fun every day going through just deleting people. But the scammers, it's more of a concern to me because I know that they do take your money and it does look like it's me, and it's not. So remember, I will not ever chase you or solicit you for readings. It's up to you to come to me. Okay, have I included everything? Gemini is the reading for today. I'll be doing that after I've finished here. I've been putting my TikTok 1-minute readings up on YouTube. They don't seem to get received well or get really low gradings for them, but my understanding is even if people watch them and give me a thumbs down, I still get visibility. So as far as I'm concerned, they still work for me. But a lot of people really like them. If you haven't joined me on Facebook, I do have a Facebook and an Instagram. So if you want to keep in touch, I get more chance to sort of post daily for those. Okay. I feel like I've got everything in, but I'm not really sure. I'm going to use the Celestial Tarot for your reading today. This is one I like to use because on every card it has what planet or star sign it relates to. So this is Hercules with the 6 of Cups. It sort of gives another layer to the meaning of the tarot, so I sort of like that. I'm always learning. As much as I've been doing this for like 50 odd years, I'm still always learning too. So, all right, let's get into this reading today. Okay, so we're starting off here with the 3 of Swords. There are a lot of cards in the deck. I always say all the cards have, a positive meaning for me. All cards are not negative. None of them are meant to be negative. They all talk about a journey. They all have a second layer. The only thing is, because we watch movies and shows on television, they sort of portray sometimes the tarot cards as being evil or dangerous. And sometimes when I put the cards out, people go, oh my God, I've got the Tower. I think, I'm thinking, wow, that's fabulous. Change is coming. But for other people, when they see the cards, they very often, because of their past connections with that, might find them a little bit daunting. Now, I always say that with the cards, there is many of the cards have lots and lots of meanings, which changes depending on what cards they have around them. For me, the card that has the least amount of meaning and the least amount of layers and levels is the 3 of Swords. So the Three of Swords talks about pain and heartbreak. The only thing is with the Three of Swords, sometimes if I feel it out, I can feel it's past pain that you're going through and that it's about to sort of move away from you, because it can talk about an experience you've had in the past that is still influencing you today. So, for example, if we lost something in the past or even someone, we may still be in that mourning or that grieving stage. So, this would sort of come out as a reminder to us that perhaps we need to be a little kinder to ourselves or a little bit more gentle. So, when the Three of Swords comes out for me, if I'm doing a personal reading, the first thing I would say is there is still grief around you that sort of is sitting with you. Depending on what cards are with it. So behind that, we have the Two of Pentacles. So it could be, for example, with that Two of Pentacles there, that you have to make a decision to leave somebody behind, to say goodbye to someone, to let go of something. And it may not be easy to do. So, for example, if you were a heavy smoker and you had to give up smoking, I would see those cards there. So it's that energy of, how do I give this away? What do I do? And it's going to be very difficult for me to do. And it could be something like an addiction. The Two of Pentacles is very much that card of finding balance to move forward. So, sometimes we have to make a choice here. And we have the Queen of Wands behind that. With the Princess of Swords, you're definitely cutting something out because you are out of balance here. All right, so it could be that you're dealing with a Leo, Sag, or Aries, or even a Capricorn, but I feel like you've got somebody toxic, maybe at work or in your life, that you need to let go of, and it may be hard. So, for example, if you were working with somebody who was making your life absolutely miserable, then it's going to be very, very difficult to give your job away. I feel like when you have those situations, it's hard to mend them. Even if you go in with a completely different attitude, sometimes the damage is quite great before you realize how much it's affected you. If this is a relationship, I feel like I've had this energy quite a lot this week. You may be dealing with someone who is very controlling or very difficult to deal with. Now, remember, this isn't always romantic. It could be somebody in your family. It could be even one of your children. It could be a friend. It could be somebody who's just making life very hard for you. And you may be in a position as to whether to let them go or not. I've done a lot of work with people with narcissistic people around them. And sometimes, when they're family members, people find them very difficult to completely let go of. There is a lot of sort of social stigma around that. I hear often, everyone should love their mother. Every mother loves their children. And I can tell you from experience and from all the people I've worked with, that is not true. Sorry. Some people never have a maternal instinct. So what I feel like here is you may be dealing with somebody that is very difficult for you to let go of or walk away from. And that may be making it very hard to change your life in that regard. If you're dealing with somebody and you don't want to leave them behind, but they're making your life miserable, there are strategies and tactics that you can use to work with people without actually getting really sort of involved in their drama. We can talk about that at some stage. But anyway, if it's a relationship, you may be dealing with somebody that you don't want to walk away from, and they treat you cruelly, but you can't make that decision. Sometimes it's really hard because by the time you get into a relationship with someone, you've already become part of their abusive ways, for example, and it's very difficult to pull away. Relationships, even when you don't dislike the person, can be very hard to make that decision to leave somebody behind. But anyway, definitely coming through very strong. All right, so I have the Four of Cups. You're definitely feeling like the Ace of Cups next to it. All right, this is exactly what I've been saying. The Star, you have much to learn from this relationship here with this Five of Pentacles. I just feel this energy has come up quite a lot this week. to me, the energy that's coming across here is where you are feeling perhaps a little bit like you want to let go of something. But I want to say to you, you have learned a lot in this relationship. You know, sometimes when we look back on a relationship and we think about what it's taken for us to move away from it, in our own way, we can gain a lot of strength and knowledge from that. I talk about my own experience in walking away from my children's father. I was, I think, about 26, and I had 3 children, and it was a very difficult relationship, and I was very scared. So I had to do it in his tea break, before his tea break. So when he went off to work at 6:30, whatever it was, and he came home from work at 8:30, and I had to move in those couple of hours. But I couldn't do it to his face. It was just really difficult for me. So I guess there'll be other people who relate to that. So what I see here is a complete dissatisfaction with the situation you're in. I do feel with the Ace of Cups, there's a lot of love here. So you may feel you still love this person, even if they've been, you know, maybe somewhat cruel. You're definitely feeling spiritually depleted. But what I see is this is part of your learning path. And as twin flames, we can all understand that process you go through to deal with your own past. I feel like a lot of the time twin flame relationships are very glorified, but they really do teach us to go deep inside and work on what we need to work on to be more whole and complete in ourselves. So it could be some sort of situation like that. All right, I do have the 10 of Cups. So there's some very positive cards here. 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups together. Water and earth. So you could be dealing with a water and earth sign, and a fixed earth. So you've got Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy, Aquarius energy coming through strongly. I do feel that this is a partner for somebody here. It could be a mother figure, but it feels more like a partner to me. Let's just keep going. So I have the 6 of Cups with the 8 of Cups. Okay. And the Strength card at the end, which has got its rightful place right there. So it could be dealing with a Leo too. I feel like maybe you are starting to learn, and I can relate to this too, because when we start to see things differently, when we're the observer in our lives, so we can go through life just sort of always being in our head, overthinking things, and we don't actually see what's happening. We don't learn to get out of that and really understand and ground ourselves to what we're seeing. But there comes a point in time where something happens and you look at things and you think something about this situation is not right. I'm really suffering. I'm in pain all the time. What is it about this relationship or this situation that is not fitting with me? And that is the time when we start to really see things. So say, for example, you've been in a situation where somebody's been quite controlling, but you're a little bit flexible. You may be a bit of a people pleaser, and you go about your business just keeping them happy. And then all of a sudden you look at your life and you think, hang on a moment, I'm investing in this person, giving them lots of love and attention, but I feel deprived of love. And then you start to see things differently. Like all of a sudden the control mechanisms seem to stand out a lot more, that manipulation. And then you might see it in other people around you as well. Once you start to see that, it's almost like your eyes start to open and you start to see how people have been using those tactics or strategies on you. And all of a sudden everything starts to change. Now, if you're not very strong or you've got some internal work to do, you might become resentful and angry, and you might start to respond in those ways rather than really doing the things you need to do to, I guess in some way you're rescuing them rather than rescuing yourself. So for me, when the Strength card comes out, it says there is definitely some sort of internal work you need to do on your past here with the 6 of Cups. So it may be that you had, say, for example, a very dominant parent, a very controlling parent, and that is how you recognize what love looks like. So my parent is very controlling. They could even be verging on cruel. and they love me. Like I said, not everybody loves everybody. We might see it that way because that's the way we were raised. So we may equate control, manipulation, all of those things to love. So what happens is when we go out into the world, we look for people who reflect that back to us. It's a very complex thing, but it's really good to understand. So there is something from your past here that needs to be worked on. I do see with the Eight of Cups that perhaps you have thought about walking away, moving away from this situation, but maybe it's been very, very difficult for you. There's a lot of love here, and I do believe with some of these other cards that maybe your lifestyle is very good too. So you could be living with someone who is very, very good at treating you with material gifts, but not very good at giving you love. So you could be dealing with somebody very cold, for example, somebody who is unable to show love to you. And again, that might be something that you learned in your childhood. So let's have a quick look. Three of Swords. So somebody is definitely finding it hard to leave something behind. They are trying to make a decision here. I do feel there's Leo, Sag, Aries, but I feel like this is a time for you to cut something out, stand in your shoes, be the leader in your life, because you have the Temperance card coming through. So it could be that you are trying to find balance in this maybe, but it also could mean the time is right to make that decision. I do feel somehow or another, especially with the Devil card here, Eight of Pentacles, it could even be a work situation, but work is required. You know, it's really funny. I've had people say to me before, you know, what sort of work do I need to do on myself? You know, if you start with meditation and mindfulness, everything will be shown to you in time. It's like once you become grounded and the observer in your life, you start to see things very differently. And this is the time when people will walk away, because you start to set your boundaries. You start to say, no, that isn't right for me. And as long as you manage that well, people will leave you behind because they cannot manipulate you any longer. All right, let's have a look at a Wisdom of the Hidden Realms card. Oh, the cards are all very lively today. There must be somebody out there I'm meaning to reach. There it is, the Web Weaver. Synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect. That's what that would be about. All right, card 4. The Web Weaver rejoices that your creations are far-reaching and have positive effects on the many. Every action, every thought, every word and deed is woven into the web of creation. When the Web Weaver appears as your ally, she grants you the way to others of like mind and intention and lets you know you're not alone in your endeavors. Oh, I like that. If this query is about a relationship, the Web Weaver gives you assurance that meaningful coincidence comes through to give you hope. So, you know, sometimes we can be looking for an answer to something and Spirit will pretty much drop it into your lap. So if this reading's found you and it really feels like you're reading, then I'm bringing a message to you from somebody that needs to get it across to you. Sometimes it can come in the form of numbers and synchronicities, like we have 1826 on the clock at the moment. Have a look that up, because very often that will mean something. Sometimes it's just the most craziest of significant signs. Like it might be that you see, I don't know, Goofy from the Disney cartoons, and then all of a sudden Goofy is everywhere. Now there is a thing called, I think it's called something like reticular something, where you do that. So for example, if you're pregnant, all of a sudden everybody looks pregnant around you because you're heightened. So it can be that Spirit is trying to bring you messages through that just keep repeating, and that might mean that you need to go in and do some work. At the very least, find out about mindfulness and how to practice that. It will help you to stay in your body rather than overthinking, and you can see things much more clearly. All right, I will leave you with that. Thank you.